Funny story. I don't teach robots. I teach human beings. Okay, it's not a funny story, but it's true. And when I see a lot of people on the internet talking about how algorithms are the only way to do math and why do we just teach the algorithms like we should, it makes me wonder, haven't you ever seen problems like this or this? I don't want my students to use the algorithm in problems like that. I want them to use a little bit of common sense. So this week, what I challenge you to do as teachers is to give your students the question, can you give me some problems that are better solved without an algorithm? So in other words, the algorithm would just be a lot more work. So by the time you put it in a calculator or in Wolfram Alpha or use Photomath, it would be a lot more work than just saying like the answer is whatever. So whatever grade level that you teach, it doesn't matter, but I think that there is going to be examples where it's actually easier to just look at a problem and use some common sense rather than to try to use some algorithm or some other way of solving it. So that's the challenge I have for you to do with your students this week, is find some of these problems, or encourage your students to find some of these problems that they can do better without the algorithm, because you can just kind of look at them and use some number sense, if you have that number sense of how to solve these problems. And it's a really good exercise because you'll learn a lot by the problems that your students solve or the ones that they don't solve. And it'll open their eyes to the fact that efficiency for computers is probably always the algorithm, but for human beings, there are a lot of instances where the algorithm isn't actually the most efficient. So maybe you'll have fun with your students figuring this out. If you do, let me know how it goes.